Hey, Crystal Main here for the post game of Minish. This happens right after the credits end. The game asks you to save so that you can access the post game. Oh, apparently it's called the Minish Cap. I'm sorry. Anyways, now you can see that you've got a Triforce symbol in your file. Unfortunately, the game pretends that you haven't beaten it anyways. And yet it still has post-game stuff that's restricted, really. Hyrule Town looks this way even before you beat BT. So it's not like it's restricted to the post-game that looks so desolate. But yeah, a lot of times when I play through this game, I will intentionally not get the 4-sword fully upgraded because I don't want Hyrule Town to become so desolate and barren. Because the way it is now, everyone has pretty much evacuated because they think that monsters are going to run into the town and invade it. Despite the fact that, there's monsters surrounding the town as it is, but they haven't once actually decided to go into the town. I'm pretty sure that if they haven't gone into the town by now, they're not going to ever. I love the voice clips that the Mountain Minish have. But anyways, I just hate how Hyrule Town looks so barren and devoid of life. Like, there's soldiers all over it, although they're not attacking you like it's... Like, at least they keep playing the regular music. Cause in Link to the Past, Kakaroo Village's theme stops playing entirely after you beat Ganon for the first time, which makes it feel like less of a distinct area, separate from the rest of Hyrule. That game had that problem worse enough as it is, because no matter where you were in the overworld, it always played the same theme, unless you were in Lost Woods, but if you got rid of the fog, then that same problem was everywhere. And in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, really? Guess I gotta get more Kinstones then. But anyways, in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, you had this town in it that was pretty lively. But if you beat Joke's End, which was the ice dungeon of the game, then the town would get attacked. And even after you beat the game, it would keep having that ruined town aesthetic and that ruined town theme to it. And it felt like the game was punishing you for getting so far into it. Because even if you beat the game, the town still looked depressing and destroyed. I hate it when games do that. So most of the time that I play through Minish Cap, I don't bother getting all the way to the final dungeon because I just don't want to. That and the fact that the post-game sucks because I just hate spending so much time talking to every single NPC in the entire game trying to get that one last Kindstone fusion. And a lot of the times I can't do it. Like I try to fuse Kindstones with every NPC I can, but I just can't. Yeah, when you talk to Dampy, he says left, 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 up, up. Dang, what's that last turn? And I follow that exact route. But it just takes you to the exact same place that you would have gone to normally. So I don't really see the point of having two different routes you can take. I don't think I've talked about it yet, but when you're in front of an NPC that wants to fuse Kindstones with you, then different objects will appear in their thought bubble depending on what reward they're going to give you. I always rush through it and press the L button instantly anyways, so the reward always comes as a surprise to me. Like, no matter how many times I played the game, I'm always surprised by the rewards I get sometimes. Also, I'm not sure how he immediately knew that the watery spot dried up. I'm not even sure how he saw it dry up. Since when does any kid say that? But yeah, Hyrule Town has gone so bleak and depressing that all of the kids are told to get out of school and stay in their homes. Because there are monsters outside, apparently. Even though there were monsters outside of the town long before that, but nobody cared. But this is an area that you can only access with the fully upgraded 4 sword. So I guess a lot of this post-game stuff I could have done before reaching the final dungeon. But it would have been anticlimactic to go out of it. You know, I wanted to get it over with as soon as possible. So a lot of this extra stuff is stuff that isn't restricted to the post-game. But I felt like it would be anticlimactic to do it. To just go out of the final dungeon and just do it there. See, this is the guy. Some people apparently went into Hyrule Castle and never came back. And hopefully it's because they were turned to stone by Vati, and not because they were killed by monsters. Although, Delta's wish probably restores them to life anyways, so. Yeah, thankfully you can dive under that rope so he's not that big of a deal. Otherwise his placement would be really cheap. I always forget which route I'm supposed to take to get that treasure chest here. But yeah, you take the left one to get that treasure chest. And those guys are kind of annoying in such a cramped area. Because you hit their blue thing with the boomerang and it doesn't stun them. But I managed to make short work of them. And these guys are no threat whatsoever. Mainly because I have the boomerang, but also because they're in such a cramped space that they don't really have much room to run around in. That's some weird dialogue. What's that reference to? Here I'm showing off more of the Ocarina glitch. You can't pause the game when you have the Ocarina glitch equipped for some reason. So that's why I had to do it again, because I had forgotten to equip the Cane of Passy before doing it. Dashing into walls will also crash the game, and playing the Ocarina again will remove the effects of the glitch, and making a screen transition will keep the effects of the glitch intact, but you won't freeze the game if you roll or dash into walls. Speedrunners have used this glitch to do all sorts of cool sequence breaks in places like the Temple of Droplets and the final dungeon of the game. Yeah, exactly. All of the kids are inside of their houses. Yeah, this is part of why I hate this shop. Sometimes you can just teleport the item back to where it was when you're trying to buy it. And I didn't really care enough to... I mean, I think I buy it later, but I never bought the fully upgraded bomb bag in the actual game. You don't really need it. And yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. The bakery doesn't really have many customers for some reason. The likeliness that you'll get a Kinstone as a reward, and the likeliness that you'll get a red Kinstone, I guess, increases the more expensive bread you buy. Like, the cheapest bread will get you the lowest probability of getting a Kinstone. So there's sort of like a Kinstone shop, but not really, because it's not guaranteed that you'll get a Kinstone. I hate that line. Not really, because you can easily get stepped on. I don't know why they think it's a good idea to do that. In Link's Awakening, there's unused text in the game's code saying, "You got the shovel! Now you can feel the joy of digging." It was meant to show up if you got it out of a chest, but that never happens in the final game. And that implies that you were originally meant to get the shovel in a chest in Link's Awakening instead of buying it from the shop. There is a room in the game that's coded to give you a shovel in a chest, but in order to remove that, the actual chest was removed from the game. There's also chest data for the bow, but no dialogue was written for it. And I really wish that Link's Awakening had just allowed you to get the bow from a chest. Because the bow is mandatory for beating the game, but because it's ridiculously expensive, and because it's ridiculously overpriced, you're guaranteed to just steal it when you need to get it. Which means that it's pretty much impossible to get a no death run to that game if you don't steal, because you have to go back into the shop to get the bow, but if you stole the shovel, then you're gonna die no matter what when you go back to it. This is Big Oron. I think he made his first appearance in Ocarina of Time. But here he is again. Unfortunately, rather than upgrading your sword to one-shot everything, he upgrades your shield instead. Which is completely useless because, again, I can't stress this enough, when you have a shield that you're forced to equip and hold the button down to use it, in a top-down Zelda game no less, then it's completely useless and you're never gonna actually use it, because you only have 2 item slots. You don't want to waste an item slot on the shield. Why can't it just be like it is in Link to the Past, where you always have your shield out no matter what? Why does it have to be something that is an item? So for most of the game, aside from deflecting projectiles back at the Dooku Scrubs, the shield is completely and utterly useless. So getting the shield upgraded is pointless. And it's completely restricted to the post-game, for some reason. Like, you think, with the way that the shield is when it's upgraded, you think that it would be mandatory and unlock some new puzzles. But no. But yeah, at this point I'm just trying to get all of the Kinstone fusions. So it's a good thing that I have a huge backlog of trivia to cover from the previous game. Link's Awakening has 3 unused area names: Waterfall at the Shrine, South of the Shrine, and Entrance to the Animal Village. The text that I just mentioned never actually appears in the game. And if you hack a warp in Link's Awakening to use an invalid submap, why am I not going into that Minish area? Why? That always happens to me. But anyways, if you hack a warp in Link's Awakening to use an invalid submap, then you'll be warped to the mountain cave near Eagle's Tower. Because I guess that's how the game programs. I guess that's how the game's programmed to handle you being warped to a place that's you're not supposed to warp to. So you'll be warped to the mountain cave near Eagle's Tower, and the unused text Mountain Bridge will appear. I don't think I talked about it in my Link to the Past LP, but there was a Nintendo Power contest where if you won it, then you would get your name in the next Zelda game. And the winner of that was a guy named Chris Houlihan. And as a result, his name appeared in a room that was basically an air handler. So almost no one would ever see it without glitching. The Chris Houlihan room in Link to the Past is a room full of blue rupees that is programmed to appear if you try to activate a screen transition, but the game glitches out and doesn't know where to take you. And because that's pretty much never gonna happen to you, unless you have a really old and dying cartridge, I guess. The only way you can get to the Chris Houlihan room is either with a glitch involving doing a whole bunch of stuff and then bombing yourself so that you fall into a hole, or, well, like, it's a really complicated glitch and I'm not sure exactly how you do it myself. Or you can at least see Chris Houlihan's room by using the walk through walls glitch in the northwesternmost part of the Underworld. And then you just go east from... I like that line. But anyways, you just go east from Ganon's room, and then you'll find his room. I kind of feel sorry for that Chris Houlihan. He got his name in his Zelda game in a place where almost no one would actually find it. And his name is only in the American version of the game. I wish it was like A Link to the Past where you just left the screen and then came back and he instantly had it ready. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know how long you have to take before you can get that shield. That's the one benefit of getting the mirror shield. What a waste of an item. Not only because it's a shield that is done completely wrong in a top-down Zelda game. Yeah, I lingered on the text box because I was so shocked that I actually managed to do it. But I didn't bother getting all the figurines because it takes such a long time to get all the figurines because you can't just give all of your shells at once to Carlo. No, you have to get all the figurines one at a time. So I got all the figurines, I talked to the guy next to the bar, and he gave me access to this place. And thankfully, the file that I had all my figurines on didn't have me open those chests yet. So that's the medal that you get when you get all the figurines. And here's the sound test. This is the only Zelda game to have a sound test in it. I don't know why that is. Every Zelda game, hell, every game in general, should have a sound test. Because it makes it a lot easier for people to put the music on YouTube. I mean, I guess they want you to force you to buy the official soundtrack of the game. But who would ever do that? I mean, Zelda games aren't really known for their fantastic soundtracks. You want Sonic for that. And I'm not going to show you all of the text for all of the figurines. This LP gone on long enough as it is. I'm honestly surprised that I was able to provide enough commentary to finish it. Yeah, and this is what they say in the North American version. But in the European version, they taunt you by mentioning the fire rod. So apparently Mazel, or Mazal, is the name of the annoying head and hands boss. But yeah, that was Minish Cap. I'm not really sure what Zelda game I'm going to do next. I know for a fact that I'm not going to do a commentary on Wind Waker until I've completed my commentary of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Because that will prove to me that I'll be able to keep a commentary going for as long as it'll take to do a commentary of Wind Waker. Because this commentary was only 19 parts, and I still was in heavy doubt that I would be able to provide enough commentary for it. I mean, I have several pages of trivia, but still. So, I'm not sure what game I'll do next. I'm a little uneasy about doing the Oracle games. I never really played them. I guess I'll do Wind Waker next, but don't expect that for quite a while.